Hello everyone, myself Gaurangi Kushwa, and today I am back with my another video. In this video, we are going to talk about types of offers under Indian Contract Act 1872. We will be going to deal about the kinds or the types of offers. So let's get started. So first of all, let us know what is an offer. An offer is the first step in the formation of any contract. It marks the beginning of the contractual obligation between the parties. As it's known fact that acceptance can only be made to a prior offer, an offer is essential for the formation of a contract. An offer is defined under Section 2A of the Indian Contract Act as when a person signifies to another his willingness to do or to abstain from doing anything with a view to obtaining the assent of that other to such act or abstinence, he is said to make a proposal. So, types of offer. An offer can be of many types, ranging across the spectrum. But basically, there are seven main kinds of offers. They are express and implied offer. Let's study about them first. So, Section 9 of the Indian Contract Act defines both of them as insofar as the proposal or acceptance or any promise is made in words, the promise is said to be expressed in so far as such a proposal or acceptance is made otherwise than in words, then a promise is said to be implied. Therefore, any offer is made with words, it may be regarded as express. Any promise that is made otherwise than in words, that is implied. So that was the first and the second kind of offer. The third comes for general offer. A general offer is an offer that is made to the world at large. The genesis of a general offer came about from the landmark case of Carlyle versus Carbolic Smoke Ball Company. A company by the name Carbolic Smoke Ball offered through an advertisement to pay rupees £100 to anyone who would contract increasing epidemic influenza, colds, or any disease caused by cold after taking its medicine according to the prescribed instructions. It was also added that £1,000 have been deposited in Alliance Bank, showing the sincerity in the matter. One customer, Mrs. Carlyle, used the medicine and still contracted influenza and hence sued the company for the reward. The defendants give the argument that the offer was not made with an intention to enter into legally binding agreement, rather was only be puff the sales of the company. Moreover, they also contended that an offer needs to be made to specific person, and here the offer was not to any specific person, and hence they are not obliged to plaintiff. Setting aside the argument of the defendant, the bench stated that in case of such offers, that is general offers, there is no need for communication of acceptance. Anyone who performs the condition of the contract is said to have communicated his or acceptance, or moreover, the money deposited by the defendant in Alliance Bank clearly shows that they intended to create a legally binding relationship. Hence, the plaintiff was awarded with the amount. So the next is specific offer. Specific offer is an offer that is made to a specific or a certain person. This type of offer can only be accepted by the person to whom it's made. This concept was seen briefly in the case of Bolton versus Jones, wherein the plaintiff had taken the business of the Brocklehurst. The defendant used to have business with Brocklehurst and not knowing about the change in ownership of business. Sent him an order for certain goods. The defendant came to know about the change only after receiving an invoice, at which point he had already consumed the goods. The defendant refused to pay the price as he had set off against the original owner, for which the plaintiff sued him. And the next kind of offer is the cross offer. When two parties make an identical offer to each other in ignorance to each other's offer, they are said to make cross offers. Cross offers are not valid offers. For example, if A makes an offer to sell his car for 7 lakhs to B, and B, in ignorance of that, makes an offer to buy the same car for 7 lakhs, they are said to make a cross offer. Hence, there is no acceptance in this case. Hence, it cannot be a mutual acceptance. So, basic essentials for cross offer is: first is same offer to one another. When the offerer makes an offer to the offeree and the offeree without prior knowledge makes the same offer to the offerer, then both the object and the party remain the same. Offer must be made in ignorance of each other. The two parties must make the offer in ignorance to each other. An important case in this aspect, in the English case of Tin versus Hoffman, the defendant wrote to the complainant and offered to sell him 800 tons of iron at 69 per ton. At the same time, the complainant also wrote to the defendant and offered to buy the iron at similar terms. The issue in this case was there are any contract between the parties and would simultaneously offers be a valid acceptance. The court held that these were cross offers that were simultaneously without knowledge of any other and would not be bound the parties. So the next is the counter offer. When the offeree offers a qualified acceptance of the offer subject to modifications and variations in terms of the original offer, he is said to have made a counter offer. A counter offer is a rejection of the original offer. For example, uh, like A offers B a car for 10 lakhs and B agrees to buy it for 8 lakhs. This amount to a counter offer and would mean a rejection of the original offer that was for 10 lakhs. Later on, if B agrees to buy for 10 lakhs, A may refuse. Sir Jenkins CJ in Haji Muhammad Haji Jiva versus Spinner held that any departure from original offer vitiates acceptance. In other words, an acceptance with a variation is not acceptance, it is simply a counter proposal and which must be accepted by the original offerer for it to formulate into a contract offer. Next is standing offer. An offer which remains open for acceptance over a period of time is called standing offer. Tenders that are invited for supply of goods in the kind of standing offer in Percival Limited versus London County Council Asylum and Mental Deficiency Committee, the plaintiff advertised for tenders for supply of goods. The defendant took a tender in which he had to supply to the company various special articles for the period of 12 months. In between this, the defendant didn't supply for the particular consignment. The court held that the tender was a standing offer that was to be converted into a series of contracts by the subsequent acts of the company, and that an order prevented pro tanto is possibility of revocation. Hence, the company succeeded in the action of breach of contract. So by this, let's move to the conclusion of this video. The Indian Contract Act doesn't specifically mention the different types of offer, but as ours is a common law country, we can develop law from the decisions held by Indian and British courts. As an offer is the first step in the formulation of a contract, it is essential to distinguish what type of offer has been made by the offerer, as different types of offers have different types of legal rules being applied to them. It's also imperative to distinguish an offer and an invitation to offer to avoid unwanted transactions. So by this, I end my video here. Hope you have understood well. Thank you so much.